really well. We closed the game really well. What we've got to get better at is the in-between. And second half, what this team has really got to learn much better, and because it reflects poorly at times. And our teams that we've had success with were really good at understanding game planning defenses. And sometimes when we want to, we are not a conventional team in the sense that we're just not going to win every matchup on talent every time, right? So we've got to be able to do a couple different things. We had a lot of respect for their flex offense, and we did not handle it well in the first half. And the second half, we just said, okay, we're just going to guard, and we're not going to switch. And we'll get up on top of the ball screens and do what we have to do there. But we have got to get a lot better at game plan defense and as we move into it, because teams are built to beat you at what they work on every day. And they wanted a lot of layups, they wanted elbow shots, and we were not as good at that, at taking that away. We were better in the second half, especially late. Their two best players made big plays. So a lot of room for us to improve. You know, before anybody asks the question, what's the list to get ready for the Big Ten? It's too long, and I've already made you wait long enough. It's long. We've got a long way to go. But that's the beauty of the season. The thing or where we're at in the season. The thing is, I think there's very few things we can't get better at. So we've got a lot of good pieces, and now we've just got to get it to where we understand what each game entails. And each game is different. And we've had, like I said, a lot of success when we really understood how to game plan for a team and take things out. And that's what this team has got to grow if we're going to get better, especially on the defensive end. And it really carries over into the offensive end as well, because there's a lot of improvement that we can make there as well. So before we go any further, you guys remember Brian Jones, who was I think he was an inspiration to anybody, obviously, that met him, but probably to everybody that read about him or heard about him. And I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to not only meet him and meet his family, but bring some light to what he was going through. And it gets to a point where he would have had a birthday here this time of year, and it's closing in closer and closer to the year anniversary of his passing. And his family's here, and I'm glad that they're here. We've got a lot of guests tonight, all matter a huge deal, but this group matters a great deal to us too, because Brian, in the short period of time that we personally knew him, brought a ton of inspiration to us. So glad that they're here. But go ahead.
First question, Zach?
I guess just to start on offense first, you've talked about not wanting guys to force it, and it feels like certainly in terms of turnovers, and you probably speak more to shot selection, but the guys aren't doing that. Is there a level of trust from teammate to teammate offensively in this team?
Well, I'm sure
maybe
there
wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have the. Yeah, well, I don't think we'd have the percentages that we have if we didn't. I don't think we'd have the numbers, and whether it's team percentages or individual percentages if there wasn't. And I think we can get a lot better on offense. I don't spend a lot of time talking about that publicly because I just don't. But because the theme is really to talk about our defense when it's not as good as it needs to be. But as our defense improves, our offense will get better as well. So I think those things will continue to go up. But that's part of it as well. We've got to really understand game plans too, because the other teams come in with a game plan. You know, they've actually got to plan it out and stop us. So we've got to be able to adjust to that. So all the way across the board, there's got to be a level of improvement and understand what the other team wants to do, what the other team wants to do to us, and how we're going to combat it on both ends and attack it.
Next question.
What kind of challenge can, sustaining focus be on a night like this?
Well, I think offensively it wasn't. We had great practices. I got tricked a little bit, to be honest with you. But I mean, we got up, and so the scoring wasn't the problem. But we had great practices and tremendous focus and energy. And we just it really stemmed from what we didn't do defensively, to be honest with you, because we were playing against a team, and it was a different coverage for this because of the flex. And rather than dealing with the 6, 7, 8 different ways that they get into it, and knowing that they want to get a certain amount of layups, and they're really, really shooting the elbow shot well, which you could even see a little bit tonight. We wanted to try to take those things away, and we weren't as good at that, and that got everybody a little frustrated, and that probably affected our offense just a little bit. But that's the focus, I guess, would be the number one word. But the stick-to-itiveness, or 3 guys are doing it right, 4 guys are doing it right, 1 guy makes a mistake. They're good at what they do, and they're good at where they know they want to get the ball. And if we're going to be a good team, we've got to learn to take those things away. So we got a lot better in the second half. I'd be way more concerned about it if we hadn't gotten better in the second half. But again, in all honesty, we scrapped the game plan and said, okay, now we're just going to go guard. But that's not going to beat the teams on our schedule moving forward. You've got to be able to take people out of what they want to do, and you've got to be able to mix their coverages, or mix our coverages. Good.
You finally got, Troy's working the offseason on a shot. He finally got it to go tonight for the first time this year. Career high three threes. You gave him the freedom to still take that shot, despite having a little bit of struggles before tonight.
Yeah, we give a lot of freedom. Yeah. Is that the question? Or?
Yeah, he seemed to be a little, did not hesitate with it.
We work a lot on the 3. Yeah, we're an improvement program. If you look across the board, year after year, guys' numbers from one year to the next, or from one early part of their career to the later part of their career, they go way up. And that doesn't happen because you put handcuffs on them. It happens because, now again, we're not into taking bad shots, and we have to get those corrected as we go, but we're into playing fast. There's a little bit of give and take with understanding the difference. But he works hard on his shot. He's got to work hard more away from practice time. But we spend a lot of time shooting the ball. We wouldn't have the numbers that we have if we didn't. But again, it goes back to Troy has got to be consistent in many areas with the talent level that he has. And our number one responsibility is to continue to hold him to that and keep building towards that, because it's there. And I think the shot is an example of that. When you're really locked in and moving well and playing both ends well, it's amazing how open you get and how good you feel with your shot. We just want him to do it more often. Anybody else? Jeff?
Thomas is, I think, 19 to 24 combined for the field his last 3 games. What do you feel have been the keys that led to that level of efficiency?
He's getting healthier. Pure and simple. He's getting healthier, which is allowing us to do more with him, which is allowing his confidence to grow. He's in practice longer. And, we haven't, I don't come up here and talk much about it because it'd be written as excuses. So we have a lot of situations we're trying to deal with, injury-wise. And his has been a little bit more well documented because of the time he's missed. But he's getting to practice more.
Is he even to the point he gets a full practice?
More or less. We adjust things, but more or less. But he's going to continue to get better.
I guess doubling back to Troy, and maybe it has to do with some of what you talked about, but it seems like the last couple of weeks in particular, it's just kind of been a sustained, really positive at both ends for him. I know he obviously had a big game on Saturday. Just what do you feel like has sort of fueled that?
Well, he's good, and he works hard, and he's had very good practices. He's growing up, but we're looking for a consistency level. So, I have a whole different viewpoint of it, and I come in here and I try to be honest and answer the questions, but I have a whole other level of where I think they need to be and where they need to get to. And I think there's a lot of room for his improvement, but I am also proud of the fact that he is getting better. And we moved him to the point guard late in the game, and I think we scored 4 straight times, and I don't remember exactly, but it was off some segments where he just had to make decisions. One time he made a decision to come down and get a 2-hand dunk that brought the crowd to its feet, right? That's the ability that he has. And we just got to get him to be more consistent all across the board for longer periods of time, and I think he'll even get better. And that's what we're going to hold him to.
You said in the past that Troy hasn't maybe done as much work on his own outside of, scheduled practices and workouts. Is that something you've emphasized to him or something?
Yeah, we work so hard in practice and spend so much time shooting the ball. I want them to work, but it's got to be the right kind of work. But he works in practice constantly. There's not a day where you say, okay, Troy was halfway today. There's none of that. So he's an excellent practice player. But if he continues to shoot it like that, and again, when he's getting the controlled reps in practice, when I mean controlled reps where, time and score reps, or when there are shooting drills and things like that, where he's being coached on it, I think that helps him. And as he continues to get stronger, it'll be even better. But I don't want to say he's just scratching the surface. I'd have said that a year ago. But there's still a lot of room on the table for him to improve, and that was a shot of it tonight, with his shooting. But I think he'll continue to get even a lot better, right now, and score even more off the defense, and be even more of a trigger for guys like he was tonight. I mean, he did some really good things. We just need it more often.
How important for Jawan too, just to kind of come off the injury and have some impactful minutes?
Well, Juwan actually had gotten healed, and then he got hurt again in another area last week, so he didn't really practice at all last week. And that was really good for him, because he needs that. I said to him today, him getting healthy is going to be like adding another player for us, because he's missed so much time. Really, the last time he had extended minutes was Maui against St. John's. So, against UNLV. So to me, as he gets healthier, OG is getting better. You saw some of the capabilities of Jawan. He's still wearing a shoulder harness. I mean, it's going to take some time, but he's got some real versatility. And I think January is going to be hopefully late December and January is going to be a fun time to see that improvement.
Coach,
Go
you
ahead.
had 10 players with 11 minutes or more. Going forward, can you just comment on the depth of this ball club?
Well,
How's going to help you?
Well, I think it will. That's the plan. But I mean, you have to have consistency to get that. So that to me is the common thread. I mean, if it's consistent, then it's good. If it's not, then it shrinks it. But I also think we have enough guys that aren't getting a lot of minutes right now that if we put them in some of the same situations, I think they'd be fine. Harrison Diego a week ago, Ryan Burton can help us. And I think moving forward, even with Josh Newkirk, we've really, really pressed his workout level up. And he's doing certainly the things 5-on-0 in practice, but as we get him cleared into the month of January, that's going to make our practices that much better. Even though he doesn't get to play in the games, it'll make the practices that much better, which will make you be a consistent player or an inconsistent player, right? So that builds your depth even more. Sounds kind of crazy. A guy that's not going to play in the games can make you better, but he will, because he'll bring a challenge. I mean, there's not one guy that when he's healthy that will be able to get the best of him. He's really improving, and it's going to be a lot of fun when he gets out there to see him full tilt for us. So that'll help us. That's why I'm excited about the future of it, because we're going to get better. We're going to get better. We've gotten better. We've just won 5 straight. So we're going to get better, and hopefully everybody's safe and sound over this little break, and they come back excited and ready to go when we move into the Big Ten.
Okay, Coach.
So happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.